What's up, guys? It's MB Boxing, and today I'm going to be predicting the outcome of Joseph Parker versus Derek Chisora 2. And this is going to be a 12-rounder in the heavyweight division. And this fight is going to be Saturday, December 18th from the AO Arena in Manchester, England. And this fight is going to be broadcasted on The Zone. And to get both fighters' resumes, Joseph Parker, fighting out of New Zealand, holds a record of 29 wins, 2 defeats with 21 wins coming by way of knockout. He's currently ranked number 6 by BoxRec in the heavyweight division. He's also the former WBO heavyweight world champion. And not to list both of his defeats, he has a unanimous decision defeat to Anthony Joshua, back when both of them were challenging for unified titles. Joshua's 2 belts to Parker's 1 back when they were both champions. And his second loss came by unanimous decision as well, and that was to Dillian Whyte, and a very, very fun fight, might I say. But not to list some of his best victories, he has a unanimous decision win over Carlos Takam, a majority decision victory over Andy Ruiz Jr., a majority decision victory over Hughie Fury, a unanimous decision win over Junior Fa, and he's coming off a controversial split decision win over Derek Chisora in their first fight. And to get his opponent's resume, Derek Chisora, fighting out of the United Kingdom by way of Zimbabwe, holds a record of 32 wins, 11 defeats with 23 wins coming by way of knockout. He's currently ranked number 7 by BoxRec in the heavyweight division. He's also a former WBC heavyweight world title challenger. And not to list all 11 of his defeats, he has a knockout and unanimous decision defeat to current world champion Tyson Fury, a split decision loss to Robert Helenius, a unanimous decision defeat to Vitaly Klitschko, a knockout loss to David Haye, a split decision loss to Kubrat Pulev, a majority decision loss to Ajay Kabayel, a knockout loss to Dillian Whyte, and a split decision loss to Dillian Whyte. He also has a unanimous decision defeat to current unified champion Oleksandr Usyk, and in his last fight, as mentioned before, he has a split decision loss to Joseph Parker. And now to list some of his best victories, he has a knockout win over Malik Scott back when he was undefeated. He has a knockout win over Carlos Takam, a knockout win over Artur Spilka, and a knockout victory over David Price. And in my opinion, this fight is going to go in favor of Parker again. I know their first fight, I really could have went either way. I believe I had it like 115, 113 in favor of Chisora, I believe so. It was really a close fight. Either man could have won, in my opinion. But this time, I just think that Parker, being that he came in heavier and being that he sort of could figure out Derek Chisora's style, and I just can't see Chisora making those changes because he always comes in fights as the one coming forward, the aggressor and whatnot. But and that's just at any level. That's at any level. Even when he fought Alexander Usyk, he was the one coming forward. Vitaly Klitschko. I mean, all these fighters. So I don't think that will change. But for Parker, we've seen him box before on the outside. We've seen him come forward being the aggressor. We've seen him fight many different styles. He's a very versatile fighter. And I think here we'll see a mix of both because Parker came into this fight nearly like 10 pounds heavier and came into this fight heavier than Chisora. So that's going to be a big thing. And I think he actually came in heavier to sort of keep Chisora off him. Last fight, Chisora was really just able to just come forward, use his elbow in there, push on Parker on the ropes and throw his shots, and that's what really led to the knockdown in the first round. He was able to body Parker in the corner and then just throw an overhand right, landed, Parker went down. And I don't think that's going to happen here. I think that Parker's going to box smarter. He's going to fight smarter in general. He's going to come forward, land shots of his own, move on the outside, counter. But I do think that the earlier rounds, like maybe the first half of the fight, will be really competitive up until Parker starts to slip away with the fight, win a majority of the rounds later, like the mid to late rounds, I would say. Early on, just like the first fight, I think Parker will have to adjust to Chisora's come forward style, and I know that I said he probably does have a plan, but I think it's going to come in effect later on in the fight because Chisora is just always a tough man, always making it competitive early on. So I do think that Parker will have more of his success later, but I do think the first half could be pretty competitive, but with Chisora winning a majority of the rounds with his come forward style. As for Parker, he's probably going to try and counter Chisora, probably going to box on the outside, come forward a bit with his own counters and whatnot. But I do think that in the second half of the fight, once Chisora starts to get a bit more tired, Parker will start to be more effective and land his shots, and his power will be more affecting on Chisora. But still, Chisora will be the one coming forward. But Parker, being that even though he came in heavier, I do think he has the better gas tank than Chisora. I think that's just evident in most of his fights. I mean, even against Dillian White. I know that Parker weighed more than like 10 pounds lighter in that fight still. He was the fresher man, and he was able to drop weight in that round and win the later rounds. But here, I could definitely see the same happening, honestly. Even though we've only really seen Derek Chisora get knocked out cold. I don't believe we've ever seen him being broken down, dropped, not getting up for the count. We've only seen him just obliterated. Or like against David Haye, got hit with one shot, knocked out. Against Dillian White in their second fight, just one shot, he got knocked out cold. So I don't really think Chisora could get stopped here, but he could definitely get dropped if he's tired late. But I wouldn't bet my money on that. I would just stay with the distant or with the unanimous decision win for Parker, and I think that's what's going to happen. I think this fight will go the distance, although it is a very good bout between two heavy hitters. But yeah, I think that both men will go the distance, and that Joseph Parker will edge out Derek Chisora and win this fight by unanimous decision. I know their last fight really competitive; either man could have won, but this time, I just think that Parker, being that he came in heavier, is going to use that size to his advantage and keep Chisora off of more as opposed to the first fight. And he's going to just edge out most of the rounds later on as Chisora starts to tire out. And he's going to land the better shots as the fight goes on. But early on, I could definitely see Derek Chisora having a lot of success and winning maybe 3 rounds. It could be 3-3 after 6. Then Chisora takes like maybe two or 1 round later on in the fight, and yeah, it's still Parker edging it by like an 8-4 to 7-5 decision, and I think that's what the judges are going to have this bout. I think that they'll score it like 116-112 twice, or 116-112 once actually for Parker, and two judges might have it close like 115-113. And I do think this fight will be pretty competitive early, as I mentioned before Parker starts to run away with the fight and utilize his size, utilize his endurance, and really just start to land better shots and win evidently on the judges' scorecards. So comment down below your thoughts on this fight, who you think is going to win, whether you think Chisora is going to get revenge here, or you think Parker is going to really show that he's improved since their first fight, and yeah, comment down below your thoughts on this fight. So once again, as I mentioned before, I believe that Joseph Parker will win, and he will really fight in multiple styles throughout this fight. Early on, he'll probably be the one more on the outside, more trying to counter Chisora on the outside. But as the fight goes on, as I mentioned before, how I see Chisora getting more tired, he'll come forward more. He'll start landing the better shots. He'll start being the dictator of the pace, and it'll be evident that he'll be the winner of this fight. And the winner of this fight, I mean, it will probably be ranked highly by the WBO. I mean, what's going on there? I mean, we have Joe Joyce up there. We have Frank Sanchez. We have Andy Ruiz. Could we see a Joseph Parker versus Andy Ruiz rematch? Who knows? I mean, I actually think I would edge Joseph Parker in that fight, if I'm going to be honest. Andy Ruiz did not impress me in his last fight. So, I mean, there's just a lot of options for these two, and I believe this is for the WBO Intercontinental title. So who knows? I mean, Frank Sanchez, number 5, Ruiz, I believe, number 4. Parker and Chisora, I believe, are split like 3-2 maybe, and then not Joseph Parker, Joe Joyce is number 1, or no, I should say Anthony Joshua is in there instead of Derek Chisora. My mistake. And yeah, there's just a lot of options for these two. Could we possibly even see, if Joshua takes his step-aside money, a fight between Joseph Parker, if he gets past Chisora here, versus Anthony Joshua, a rematch, and a non-title fight? Who knows? That'd just be very interesting. There's just a lot of options for these two, as mentioned before. So overall, I believe that Joseph Parker will defeat Derek Chisora again, but this time winning by unanimous decision, and I think the judges will score the bout 116-112 once, and 115-113 twice. And yeah, that's really it. I'm MB Boxing. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.